You ever wonder if there's like hidden treasure just sitting around on the internet? I'm not kidding. We're talking about valuable digital real estate that people have just abandoned. Well, today we're going to break down exactly how you can find this stuff and turn it into a real, actual side hustle. So let's dive into the pretty wild world of expired domains.
Okay, when you first see a screen like this, I get it. It looks like total chaos, right? Just a wall of data, maybe some kind of secret code. But what if I told you that's not noise at all? What you're looking at is a treasure map. Seriously. Every single one of those lines is a potential clue to a piece of digital gold, an online property that already has value baked right in. The only trick? You just got to learn how to read it.
And that's exactly what we're about to do. First, we'll get into what this digital gold mine really is. Then, we're going to decode all that data so you can read the map yourself. After that, the fun part. 4 legit ways to make money, how to avoid the scams and bad buys, and I'll leave you with a super simple blueprint so you can get started.
All right, let's start digging. What are we actually talking about when we say expired domain? Because trust me, it's so much more than just a name that somebody forgot to pay for. Here's the best way to think about it. Imagine an established shop on a busy street that just shuts down. It still has a reputation, people know where it is, and maybe they still wander by. That's an expired domain. It has history. Search engines like Google already know and trust it, and sometimes it even has people still visiting. You're not starting from zero, you're buying a massive head start. So, we know these valuable properties are out there. How in the world do we find the good ones? Well, it's time to learn how to read our treasure map. And that means understanding the key numbers that tell us what's valuable and what's junk. This is basically what you're going to be looking at. I know, it looks like a bunch of alphabet soup, but each of these columns, BL, DP, ABY, ACR, is a clue. Let's break down the most important ones right now. First up, we've got BL, which is just short for backlinks. It's simply the total number of links pointing to this domain from all over the web. You can think of every single link as a vote of confidence. The more votes a site gets, the more authority and importance Google thinks it has. Pretty simple, right?
Now DP, or domain pop, listen up because this is the big one. If you only pay attention to one metric, this is it. It doesn't count the total links. It counts how many unique websites are linking in. 1,000 links from one spammy site? Worthless. But one link each from 1,000 different real sites? Whoa. That is a massive signal of quality and trust.
Next is ABY, which is just the birth year of the domain. And, just like in real life, a business that's been around for 15 years feels a lot more trustworthy than one that popped up last week. Well, Google kind of sees old domains the same way. Age equals credibility.
And finally, archive, or archive history. This shows you how many times a snapshot of the website was saved over the years. A high number here is a fantastic sign, because it proves the domain was once a real, living website with actual content, not just some empty page designed to fool people.
Okay, now we know how to read the map, let's get to the best part, finding the treasure. These are the 4 main ways you can actually turn these expired domains into cold, hard cash.
Strategy number 1, and honestly probably the best place for anyone to start, is local lead generation. It's brilliant. You find a domain that combines a city with a service, something like BeniciaRent.com. You snap it up for like 10 bucks, throw up a simple little website, and because it's an old domain, it's way easier to get it to show up on Google. Then when people call or fill out the form, you sell those leads to actual local businesses. And just look at the potential here. A single one of these sites, just one, can bring in anywhere from a couple hundred to over $1,000 a month. Every single month. That's the power of this model. You're basically creating a money-making machine for yourself and for a local business. Strategy 2 is kind of like a quick win hack, the SEO redirect. All you do is find a domain that still gets some traffic, people typing it in directly or clicking old links. You buy it and you just forward all that traffic to an affiliate product or even to your own main website. Boom, instant traffic. All right, number 3 is domain flipping. This is the closest thing to flipping houses, but for the internet. You use what you know about the data to spot domains that are way undervalued, buy them for cheap, sometimes just 10 bucks, and then you turn around and sell them for a profit on an auction site. And the profit can be pretty wild. It is not at all crazy to turn a $10 investment into $100 or even a couple thousand. It's really a numbers game of spotting those hidden gems before anyone else does. And finally, we have the long-term play, building a micro-authority site. This is where you find a really high-quality, aged domain and you bring it back to life. You rebuild it as a small, focused blog on whatever its original topic was. Then you monetize with ads and affiliate links. It's less about a quick buck and more about building a real, passive income asset for the future.
Now, before you run off and start buying domains, this is probably the most important part of the whole explainer. Seriously, most people who try this and fail, it's because they mess up right here. So let's talk about how to avoid buying a dud.
It really just boils down to this. On one side, you're hunting for the good stuff. Domains with a clean past, like a real blog or business that have that high domain pop we talked about. And on the other side, you need to run away from the junk. Names that are obviously spam, complete gibberish, and, this is critical, any site that might have been punished by Google in the past. Your best friend here is archive.org. A quick search there can tell you if a site has a sketchy history.
All right, we've covered the what, the why, and the how not to. Now let's wrap it all up into a simple, realistic plan you can actually use to get started, like today. So, here's your blueprint. First, please start small. Don't go buy 50 domains. Just grab 2 or 3 to test the waters. Second, choose one model. Don't try to do everything at once. Just focus on lead gen or flipping to start. Third, you got to validate the idea. Is it working? Are you getting any traffic, any bites at all? And finally, once you make your first profit, you just reinvest it into more domains and scale up from there.
And that really brings us to the biggest idea of this whole thing. Look, buying and selling domains is cool, but the real long-term money, it's made when you realize you're not in the domain business. You're in the traffic control business. The domain is just the key. What really matters is owning the door that it unlocks.